Design thinking, process and tools. Design and systems thinking. Design thinking is a challenge-solving approach which has been recognized as an effective way of solving complex problems that require a non-linear approach. Working with these methodologies will offer systemic and innovative solutions. The system thinking approach serves to show the behavior of systems as a result of the relationships between their elements rather than a result of the traditional view that a system is equal to the sum of its constituent elements. Linear approach versus non-linear approach. Linear approach provides the skills to face linear challenges that are not longer there when students finish the training. Linear learning is a safe route, especially in environments where strict rules apply. Linear approach tries to reduce and divide reality into specific categories or lines to simplify the training process. The non-linear approach assumes the world is a mixture of static and dynamic elements. The non-linear approaches try to blur the boundaries between disciplines and cognitive or perceptive or analytic approaches to reality. The non-linear approaches help us to approach complex problems from different perspectives. By visual tools, because they are based on systems thinking and they apply to complex problems. They support work group. They are also challenge-led. They are compatible with interdisciplinary and intercultural groups. They are empirical. The degree of refinement depends on the contents brought in by group members. And they are interconnected. Results from one tool feed into a different one. The process. The sense-making. Making sense is about creating a deep awareness of the context and the ability to embrace complexity. The awareness of the context entails perceiving the system as a wholeness made up of interconnected and interdependent parts, so the team will need to be aware of the social, technological, economic, and environmental context where the challenge is embedded. Once we understand the system as a whole, we will be ready to start defining the right challenge to work with later. The framing. The goal of the framing phase is to define the challenge to be addressed by the innovation team. The challenge emerges from the system, so by better understanding the context and the stakeholders, we can better define what the challenge is that needs to be addressed. Part of the framing phase is also about establishing the boundaries of the challenge to be defined, as complex challenges can be difficult to address in their entirety. These boundaries can be geographical, thematic, or of any other nature that will help teams to frame the challenge. Ideation. The ideation phase is a brainstorming activity where project teams encourage and harness the creativity of individuals into collective intelligence, more effective than the sum of its parts. The ideation is about releasing and harvesting individual creativity and turning it into collective intelligence. The ideation stage comprises the phases of generating, evaluating, and improving ideas, and also involves fostering healthy creative friction, being able to integrate different perspectives. Solution. Once we have chosen an idea, it is important to ensure that our solution creates value for the systems. Understanding value, benefits, costs, users, or beneficiaries as something that goes beyond a financial perspective is also part of this mindset. In this area, we will work to develop the idea and then learn how to communicate it in the most effective way. The tools. Sense-making tools. Pentagonal problem. The pentagonal problem is a visual tool to help teams to nail down problems, identify its different components and details, agreeing on a common ground for future actions. Use it whenever you face a complex problem with multiple sides, perspectives, and degrees that make it difficult to define in a single sentence or paragraph. Sense-making tools. Empathy map. The empathy map is a visual tool designed to put you in the shoes of a stakeholders to see the challenge from a different perspective. This tool is designed to build a stakeholder profile by quickly exploring the sources of information at hand. By completing this tool, you will be able to approach the problem and potential solutions from the point of view of the different stakeholders affected. Framing tools. Innovation focus. The innovation focus is a more detailed definition of the challenge that the team wants to address during the hackathon. It will be linked to the context analysis the team has performed in the previous step of the process. This tool will be useful when you want to detail and go further in the understanding of the challenge in order to approach the ideation process from a more concrete point of view. Framing tools. EE. It is a voting procedure for helping to decide which element of a list could be more interesting to pursue. This tool should be used whenever there's a need to focus the challenge and focus the ideation phase, and will be useful to facilitate the dynamics of teamwork, as it will help us to align opinions and to decide on a common line of action. Ideation tools. Brainstorming. Brainstorming is a group creativity technique used to find a solution to a specific problem. This is achieved by gathering and recording new ideas from team members in a fluid way. This activity helps to foster and harness the creativity of individuals into collective intelligence, which is more effective than the sum of its parts. This tool should be used once we have a clear focus and understanding of the challenge we're going to face. In addition, it is important to ensure that we get the team to work in an environment that helps to foster creativity. Ideation tools. Analysis. It is a visual tool that helps us to filter and choose which of the ideas we have had during the brainstorming process we want to develop. By using two matrices, feasibility and transformative, we will detect the potential impact of our ideas, and it will help us to choose the one that best fits these requirements. It will facilitate decision-making by detecting the level of both variables that our ideas have and choose the one that can generate most impact. Solution tools. Value proposition. It is an activity that helps us to organize the most relevant factors of the solution that we have extracted from the brainstorming process to present our idea. In it, we will focus on defining the idea well to make it understandable, on the value we are creating, the needs we are solving, and the power of transformation that the solution can generate. The development of this tool will help us to detect the strong points of our proposal and to be able to communicate them later.